president of C3 Creating Connections Consulting, a social media marketing strategy firm.
And I'm Mark Macomber, president of Macomber Creations, and welcome to our show,
Digitally Speaking. Oh, that's right. We did that together this time. For those of you who are just tuning in, this is show number 11 for us. We are almost hitting the 1-year mark. And in our last show, which you can find on actv.org or on the YouTube channel for Anderson Television, we discussed visual media. And we talked about some of the visual media platforms that are very important today. And very specifically, I want to emphasize, we talked about the importance of having a visual media strategic plan if you are a business. So if you want to learn what that is all about, please make sure that you go back to YouTube and check that out. But today, we are kind of switching some things up. We have a very special guest. We have Greg Harshfield. Greg, welcome.
Thank you.
We're so excited. You are our first guest. This is going to go down in Digitally Speaking history. Greg is, or was recently named the 2014 Public Administrator of the Year, Outstanding Community Volunteer for his work in promoting Anderson Township.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Nice accomplishment.
Yes, it's very surprising too. A wonderful nomination. Just glowing words from our township administration, the school district, Chamber of Commerce, the parks. Just really a nice accolades. Yeah, very nice.
That's nice.
Well, and definitely very well deserved.
Thank you.
And Greg, that's actually why we have you here, is to share with us and with the viewing audience how you have turned Anderson Township on to the rest of the world by using digital and social media. So we're really excited because our show is focused on how small businesses and organizations can use visual media and digital media. And so you are kind of the case study of how to do it right.
Well, I appreciate that. It started out as almost an experiment. The website itself was a hobby. I've always liked to write, and I like people. And I just started meeting some interesting people around the township, and I thought, well, what a great topic this would be to write some simple human interest stories for a blog type of a website.
Uh-huh.
And it kind of grew from there, and then one day I thought, well, maybe I should get more involved and try to get the word out to people about some of the things that go on in all of the great amenities around Anderson. We have the parks, we have great parks, a wonderful school district, we have a wonderful township administration, all the awards we get for green space and for Tree City USA, and a lot of people don't know that. People get busy with their everyday lives, and they have jobs and families to take care of and rushing around in the household duties, and sometimes it's nice to get away from the television that has the global view of what's going on in the world and maybe just shrink that down a little bit and see what great news there is right in your own backyard.
Well, and I think that's a great focus, because I think there's a big trend going on right now to focus locally on things, and it's really nice. People have turned their blinders out so much to see all the things because we have so much access to everything.
Right.
So it's great to see that focus being all the great amenities and all the great stuff, as you pointed out, in Anderson Township. So kudos to you.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. It really is a testament to the township itself, too. I mean, we've got great people here, so it makes it a lot easier to reach out and to sort of bring them together and communicate to folks. They've been very supportive. A lot of people in the township have been very, very supportive.
Now, you grew up here, correct?
I did not. I actually moved here. I moved to Cincinnati. I grew up in Iowa, which is sort of the backstory behind why I like people so much. I remember those days in rural Iowa where people they always wave at each other when they pass by in their vehicles, and if you didn't wave, you weren't from there.
Yeah.
And I thought about that, and I thought, that's the similar kind of a feel we have in Anderson Township. And it's ironic that we're a suburb of a very large metropolitan area that has that sort of feel. But really, it's a wonderful hometown feel when we when we see each other at the grocery store or out at the family events in the township. It's just very nice, very close knit and supportive.
And then the kind of question belies, how do you take that feeling that you say that you witness in Anderson Township, that community feel, and then how do you project it outward so that people who don't live here can really get an essence of what we're truly about, and maybe for folks who might want to move here.
Absolutely.
So that kind of gets us into kind of how you promote Anderson Township. So, and before we even get into that, Greg, I was curious when you were telling the story about how you got started, and you said that you really began with telling stories, right? Mm-hmm. Telling stories about some of the businesses. And Mark and I have talked on this show before that stories are so important in social media and so important to marketing, because people tend to want to connect with the story behind the product or the service or the organization. So out of curiosity, and I don't know if you remember back that far, but who was your first story? Which business?
The first business story I did, I believe, was just a short blurb on one of the new businesses that opened up. It was it Orange Leaf, maybe? But the first real full-blown story I did that included a sit-down and photographs and everything was Appearance Plus.
Okay.
And that was really nice, too. And then to your point about the stories, to find out who the people are behind that, who that are from here, that they have a vested interest in the community, is a really nice way to get people acclimated into the business. They're not just a cleaning company.
Right.
They're people, and it's I think that was what really sparked it. But then it all goes back to the sort of the human interest story. It all ties together.
Well, you and I were, well, I should say you and I was at your talk yesterday where you were sharing some of the things that you do to promote the township with social media. And I recall someone joking when you were saying that anybody can promote their business, and somebody was joking that, oh, not if you have a dry cleaners, but to your point, I believe Appearance Plus is one of the dry cleaners that works with Kenzie's Closet, which is a place where people can donate gently used, prom dresses and shoes and things, so that that girls that might not have an opportunity otherwise can come and kind of feel like a princess for the day and shop through. But so there are always those stories behind, okay, well, this is what we do dry cleaning, right? But there's so much more to what they do. Yeah,
definitely. And and to your point too, they have other programs for expectant mothers and for families of service persons who have been called to active duty. They do so much for the community. That was a good third, if not more, of the article was about all the things they do for the community.
So you began with the website / blog and kind of telling stories. So then where did you evolve from there in terms of promoting Anderson?
Well, shortly after I had really started heavily writing on the website, about 2 articles a month is what I mean by heavily writing. I decided I wanted to try Twitter. I had never done it before, and I thought, well, I hear all this buzz about this, this great social media outlet, this network that you can basically have very short conversations and very short thoughts that go out. And I thought, well, that's perfect for me. So I tried it. I set up the Around Anderson Township Twitter account and got great feedback. I started promoting some local businesses and some local events, Party on the Plaza.
It's a good one to promote.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And just challenging people around the city. Hey, come to Anderson, see what we're all about. Come check out the Party on the Plaza. It won't cost you a dime. You can come out, just have fun, sit and listen to music, and meet some nice people. And it took off from there. And then shortly after, I really got heavily involved with the township, with the trustees. With Josh Girth was a very, very positive influence on promoting Around Anderson Township. I started building it up to the point where it got noticed by WCPO. WCPO called me and said, we'd like to do a story on you. We think this is really fantastic. And so I got to know a couple of the folks there and asked for some advice. And they said, well, you really want to get a Facebook page set up. So the rest is history from there, but the Facebook page really spread like wildfire. I think that Facebook's probably one of the best mediums for me, from my perspective, to get the word out and to get noticed.
And to get those conversations started.
Yes, very much so.
And if you wouldn't mind sharing with our viewers the number of likes. I know yesterday you were showing some great numbers with the stats, you know, in terms of your reach and everything. And,
Yes.
and later on we can actually maybe show some of those stats on the screen for people to be able to kind of visually see that, but they were fantastic numbers.
Yeah, the website itself gets right around 300 to 350 unique visitors per day now,
That's awesome.
which is huge for, you know, for essentially a local community news site. My Twitter, I have just over 1,300 followers on Twitter, and then the Facebook account also has. I'm sorry, Twitter is just over 1,600. Facebook's just over 1,300. Or right around 1,300.
Kind of neck and neck.
yeah, Facebook's catching up though. But as far as the reach, Facebook reach is quite a bit more than that, and depending on the topic, really sets the reach. I have had a couple of alerts, you know, township alerts, things for scam alerts, and then a couple of lost dog posts that have actually gone beyond the 24,000 mark, which for me is it's incredible. It's massive numbers. And then the weekly newsletter itself goes to is read by about 1,600 people. There are a number of people that are signed up to get it electronically via email, and then there's a lot of people that just wait for me to post it on the Facebook page and then pull it up and share
And
it.
what are you using for the newsletter?
I do the newsletter myself. It's the homegrown template that I created. It's responsive so that people can read it on their tablet or their miniature device, as well as on the web. It's not as professional and beautiful as some are. I've seen some really nice responsive templates, but this one is it's nice. And I tried switching it. Funny story. I started the newsletter in September of last year. Every week, put it out. The 6th week, I decided.
Every week, wow,
Yeah,
that's impressive.
the 6th week, I put a bunch of hours in. I decided I'm going to create this wonderful template out of a bootstrap foundations that is going to be beautifully responsive and going to look really professional. So I did it. I got more emails that next week telling me, bring back the old template. We don't like this. We like the way it looked before.
That's interesting.
And it is fascinating the way people get accustomed to it, and the way I've got it set up. I've got 3 columns. The center column is kind of the featured story column, and the right-hand column I typically reserve for school news and news about McNick and IHM, Forest Hills.
Yeah. See, that's great. And I guess what we should also mention is that, for viewers that might be thinking, wow, he's not going with Constant Contact or MailChimp or some of those other ones out there. He's kind of retooling his own. You're an IT guy.
I am. My background is in IT, mostly project management and business analysis, but I do like to dabble in technology, and I've always been a fan of technology, and it's hard to stay away from it. So that was one of the things that really got me into building on the website. And over spring break this year, I took a vacation from work, and that's when I redid the website and applied the new template, and that has really gotten very good response. I didn't get emails on that one.
Yeah, he's keeping the website.
That one was positive.
Oh gosh.
Well, this is a great testimony about social media and how it can work for you as a business in a lot of different ways. So these are all great stories.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and the thing that I find really fascinating, and again, you're kind of taking this on as a labor of love to promote Anderson Township, but it's really, you've got this whole mix of, you're passionate about people. I heard you say that, that you love writing. You love meeting people. You've got that IT that's kind of kind of nestled into being able to create and tinker with your own sites. And then I'm sure that that also gives you kind of that inside view from an analytical point of view in terms of, how do you really understand the numbers, right? So that when you say I've gotten beyond 24,000 reach, a lot of small business owners may not really understand how to get into the analytics, the insights on Facebook pages, et cetera. Right. And even if they know how to get into it, they might not even understand what to do with it. You
Right.
know, like you said, you're getting feedback. Now this was kind of sentiment in terms of, hey, we don't like the old newsletter, bring it back. But whether we're talking about looking at data or whether we're talking about people actually giving you these suggestions, very important for a small business or any business to take their audience into consideration, right, and give them what they're looking for. So
Right.
that's just a perfect example that you are just completely right on top of that.
Yeah, it's turned out to be an absolutely fantastic experience, and to find out what works really, and to be able to have the freedom to to say, I don't have a startup fund invested in this. I don't have my livelihood isn't dependent on this at this time. But to be able to say, I want to try this and see what works and see what people like and what they respond to and react to has been very, very educational.
Well, and from a marketing point of view, the value that you're bringing not only to the township, but even to the businesses that are mentioned, et cetera, I mean, you're raising awareness, which is going to lead into incremental something for them, right? Whether it's more business, more people either moving to Anderson Township or having at least a better feeling about Anderson Township, maybe wanting to come and shop here, even if they want to live in their own community, but maybe they'll want to shop here. So it'd be really interesting to see if somehow you could like measure what the economic impact was.
That
on all
would
of
be
your
nice.
efforts.
And it's one of the things that we had talked about in one of the Forest Hills facilities meetings was how can you actually put a number to the impact that a positive school district or one of the top school districts has on property values.
Right.
And it's hard to do that. It's really difficult. You can say I feel like and I think, but
Right.
to actually show the numbers is very difficult. But I really do think that it's to bring it full circle and let people know what a great school district it is, what our faculty is doing, and exactly what our facilities are like, helps give the residents of Anderson, maybe who aren't even parents of kids in the school district, an understanding of what the needs might be when a levy or a bond issue comes up.
Absolutely.
And those, there's you can't put a value on that to be able to say, it's worth X percent to you per year, but it really the knowledge and the communication is great, rather than coming up in November and saying, hey, by the way, we need some money.
Right. Right, because you've built that awareness ahead.
Absolutely.
That people know why this is a great place to be. Right. So what is your favorite type of media in promoting Anderson Township, and then what is your own personal favorite vehicle to use?
Well, for promoting Anderson Township, one of the favorite things that I have now has become Facebook, and that's aside from the website. The website, obviously, that's my core. That's where I send people, where I do all the detailed work. But Facebook has been very valuable in that it gives me the ability to communicate, interact, create these wonderfully creative posts, and also link people back to other things and be informative. And I get the most feedback, I think, from Facebook. So that's been extremely valuable. I would say any business who doesn't have a Facebook page is probably missing out, only because it's one, free, and two, very, very easy to reach people. And the numbers are there. I mean, as I said in my presentation yesterday, the penetration from Facebook especially with the millennial age groups is tremendous. They go to Facebook before they look on what we used to look for the yellow pages for.
Well, it's really interesting because I have always loved Twitter, and that seemed to be the platform that I would get kind of my breaking news.
That's my personal favorite is Twitter.
But I have to say it's obviously your news feed on Facebook is really going to be, it's made up of what you're choosing to follow, right? But I tend to get my breaking news now from Facebook. Yeah. And so I really do think it's just maybe I have a nice mix of news companies and different organizations so that it's hitting. But that is kind of where I like to kind of wake up and see what's going on from that perspective. You know, and the one thing that I want to say about Facebook, and I wanted to hear what your opinion is on this. Mark and I have talked about how Facebook has changed the algorithm so much over the last year and a half, really essentially since they went public, right? Because they're in the business right now of making some money. And so for a long time last year, marketers and page owners were very upset because Facebook's algorithm was kind of spinning out views on page or Facebook page updates at about 16%. And now that's gone down to practically almost close to 0%, meaning that if you really wanted your content to be seen in the newsfeed of the folks that liked your page, you really needed to put some money behind it, sponsored updates or advertising, unless you have fantastic content, you know, that where you're going to have that that organic sharing going on. And so if you could speak to that about how important what you're sharing is.
Yeah, that's the key to Facebook in particular, is to find the type of content that really works. And when I say works, I mean it's going to be important enough to someone that they're going to want to share it. And it's got to be visually appealing. It can be very pertinent or timely. I find that there are three types of posts that get shared frequently from the Around Anderson Township Facebook page. The first is any kind of an update on road conditions or traffic or anything like that that's immediate, that's important, that people see and think.
Do one on potholes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I did several on the the 275 and 32 work there at the interchange, and those went out very well. And Twitter also is great with that too for immediate traffic updates. But the second one is community updates, community alerts. You lost dogs. You'd be surprised what a great supportive community we have when somebody loses their pet. And that really surprised me, but also it made me feel very, very good. And even today, during another meeting, I had a lost dog report that we sent out, and the dog was found, picked up over at Nagel. But then the third one is anything that's celebratory. People want to feel good about the community, and to see somebody that's done very well, particularly a student who's excelled at something, whether it be sports or academics or gotten a scholarship, a family that needs help, that's maybe had a fire or some other type of a tragedy. Those are the things that really go crazy. The simple news items that I do, they don't do so well on Facebook. A simple personal profile doesn't really go as far on Facebook. Maybe it gets a few likes and a few people that make great comments. But it's those things that are really pertinent to people, that really kind of drive whatever their feeling is at the moment. So it's trying to understand that, I think, and from a business perspective, that might be quite difficult to do, to understand what about your business will really affect your customer. So
right, because it's almost like finding the touch points. What's meaningful to your customers, and what kind of information do they really want to see, and what will they react to? So yeah. That is great.
Facebook reigns supreme again, ladies and gentlemen, so see how the race keeps going.
Definitely.
Because you are so involved with Anderson Township, what's one thing about the township, and I know there are many, but what's the one thing that you would want to share with people that might be completely unfamiliar with the township?
I think that the biggest thing about Anderson Township that most people don't know or understand is how really good we've got it. From an administrative perspective, from our township trustees, through our school district, and all the way to our parks and local businesses. This is an amazing place to live. I have moved dozens of times in my life. I was a military brat. We moved around a lot as a kid. And I've seen a lot of different cities. I've seen other places that are similar in size. And even you look around at some of the townships around southern Ohio, you don't see what we have here. We've got 3 incredible trustees. We've got a group of people that work tirelessly in our administration. Any number of things you can imagine that are controversies or tragedies in other townships. We do not see that here because we have people that are really truly focused on this community. And I would love it if I could get more people to come to trustee meetings, to school board meetings, to really see what it's all about, because we have absolutely wonderful people running the township, and they're very responsive. We've had a really tough winter this last winter. We had a number of situations where we had some of these guys that are driving the plow trucks working 24 hours or more in some cases. And yet, when a resident would call, our director of public works, or that office, they got personal attention. Whether they got a complete resolution or not, they were their concerns were addressed,
they were heard.
and they were definitely heard, and that's really a testament to that group as well. And those guys worked so hard through every one of those snowstorms, and it just was really amazing, an amazing feat, and you could tell. And I don't know, I don't want to downplay Hamilton County or the city of Cincinnati, but you could tell when you crossed out of Anderson Township.
You kind of knew where the line ended. Yes.
Our streets were pristine and clean. So it was also a hard judgment to decide whether or not to drive all the way out to work, because Anderson looks great. My street's clean. But.
Right. Well, thank you for sharing that. We just have about 2 minutes, and I just wanted to make sure that we mentioned the local business initiative that you're working on, the Shop Local First. So tell us really quickly a little bit about that.
Certainly. I had an idea about how, I sat down and thought one day, how do I get people to make the conscious decision to shop one of our local businesses before going to a big box store? And I started looking at all the things that I had championed back in November for the Shop Local First and local Small Business Saturday through American Express, and I really championed that back then. And I thought, well, let me give them the stats. If you shop local, 70% of your money stays right here in the community. If you shop big box, or a big store, chain store, national store, only 20 to 30% stays in the local economy. Yes. So that alone is a big difference. And to really challenge people, whatever it is you need, try to find it here first. And then in doing that, to partner those small businesses into the mix and say, you've got a dedicated group of people right here that are willing to shop local, market to them, and then you have this great little circle of win-win. And then using the Chamber Business Guide as the consumer guide to find where to shop local and how to really bring that all together, then brings the Chamber into the mix, because businesses now want to be members of the Chamber. So it's still in its infancy, but so far been very well received.
Great. Well, thank you for sharing that information. I think that's really important to really talk about shopping local. No matter where your local is, right? But we're specifically talking about Anderson Township. So, Greg, I want to thank you. Mark and I want to thank you very much for being here and being our first guest. This was really fascinating, and I think really it'll be a big help for other organizations and small businesses that are looking to create kind of a master plan, because that's what you've done, definitely.
Yes,
so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it. It's nice to be here.
And thanks ACTV again for hosting this edition of Digitally Speaking.